What's up, crypto gang? Welcome back to another episode. If you guys are new here, we do a giveaway at the beginning of every single episode, and today's winner is Gultees. Thanks so much for commenting on the previous video with your Bitcoin wallet. Gultees just sent you some Bitcoin. In this episode, I go over Bitpanda. Bitpanda is one of the biggest exchanges in Europe with over 1 million users. They've launched their new token called BEST, which is effectively like a BNB for Binance type token. And they are crushing it right now with the amount of data that they have. And they did share a research report that I wanted to dive into. Before we dive into that, quick disclaimer, this video is sponsored by Bitpanda. I reached out to them directly to work with them as the exchange is super interesting. It is a massive exchange in Europe, and having over 1 million users in this space is very powerful for data and research. That was one of the main reasons why I reached out to them originally, was because they have over 1 million users and they are studying and researching all the aspects of what cryptocurrency holders do in their behaviors, with their investment strategies, and all the different aspects of their portfolio. So in taking that strategy of analyzing their data, it is a very powerful and compelling story, and that was why I really wanted to reach out to them. The only projects I cover on this channel are ones that I believe in, and that is why I wanted to bring Bitpanda directly to you guys, and there will be a link in the description that you guys can sign up with. Another main reason why I reached out to Bitpanda was the fact that they are supporting metals, and I said that in my previous video about them. This is a mega industry. Gold is over $7.5 trillion just sitting there, so that money needs to eventually flow into a $200 billion market cap of Bitcoin, which is very tiny. It's almost like pouring a bucket into a thimble right now. Platforms like Bitpanda that are allowing investors to move between assets like fiat, crypto, and metals all together is going to be a massive win in the near future. They support over 20 different assets right now. So in the report that we're going to dive into today, you will see the different diversification of people's portfolios roughly. You'll see their demographics, you'll see behavior, you'll see all of the different aspects that go into their decision making around investing. That I love that they sent this survey out, and they had over 4,000 responses. So this is actually a substantial amount of data that we're dealing with. Before we dive into the report, I want to mention that Bitpanda did partner with Global Web Index that helped them really analyze and visualize this data, and there is a lot of it. They cover all the bases, and it is a very powerful thing, and it isn't getting as much attention as I would have hoped with a strong report like this, using a platform that has 1 million users and really diversified out across 20 different assets, including metals. I think that that is a really interesting thing for us as a community to understand and dive into. One of the most interesting stats that I don't go over quite deeply in the report analysis that I'm going to show you guys is the media consumption. With social media, people that spent over an hour a day, it was over 57%. 43% spent an hour doing music streaming each day, and then 38% were streaming online television, and 28% were reading press on the internet. So articles that came out on Bloomberg, CNBC, or Forbes were 2 to 3 times more likely to be read by cryptocurrency investors. And interestingly enough, over 1 hour a day was being spent watching television by 58% of cryptocurrency holders in Europe. So there is a lot of information to go through here. And having gone through the data myself, I've spent days looking at the report, and it was literally like a glimpse into myself, which I thought was really funny. Just seeing all the things that other investors are doing in Europe, it very much reflects the investors in the United States that I know and talk to and hang out with. Bitpanda is doing an IEO, like I mentioned in the previous video. The link to their site will be in the description below, so go check them out. It's called the BEST token. There's a lot of really great functionality that they're incorporating into it, and a very well-established exchange that's been around for a while, and it has over 1 million users that's working on metals as well as crypto and fiat, all on one platform, is a winning scenario. So that link is going to be in the description below, but without further ado, let's jump into these reports, and I want to show you guys some of this insanely cool data. So one of the most interesting pieces to the Bitpanda research reports that I want to go through real quickly is that they do have the data to back it up. They have over 1 million users, as I've mentioned, and partnering with the Global Web Index, they're going to give a full scope of cryptocurrency holders in Europe. And it is a very in-depth research report I'm a data nerd, as I've mentioned, and I really wanted to dive into this and show you guys just a glimpse as to how deep they went into the users that are using the platform in Europe, as well as even their portfolios as the breakdown that they have in different types of assets on the platform. Understanding cryptocurrency holders in Europe, you can see here, one of the key objectives of the report was to draw a wide set of data points to paint a more holistic picture of European crypto investors and provide an insight into the attitudes and behaviors that set them apart from the average investor. The risk takers with a strong sense of economic empowerment, they pursue novelty, open to risk, and strong sense of economic empowerment. We see this pattern with more affluent internet users as well, but is particularly pronounced in the crypto community. Interested in business and technology, just like my podcast, the European cryptocurrency holders are interested in business technology. They have technical knowledge, higher disposable income, and they tend to lean towards risk-taking and gambling. All right, diving into a little bit of the data here, highly educated, young, and male. The archetype cryptocurrency holder is a young, highly educated, high-income male working full-time or as a freelancer in a major European financial center in IT, engineering, or finance. But the stereotype is challenged by increasing diversity among cryptocurrency holders. 1 in 5 are women and 40% are over the age of 35. This is a very big change over the last 24 months that I have seen in this space. So I'm really glad that they did this in Europe. Specifically, I'm used to the US data, and the US data is skewing a lot more male than this. So this is very exciting to see that some diversity has come in. The majority, 54%, don't have university degrees, even though cryptocurrency holders are far more likely to. Jumping over to the Medium post that they originally did, Understanding Crypto Holders in Europe, I wanted to scroll down to actually see the breakdown of the portfolios that they did with the Global Web Index. Cryptocurrency forms a part of the portfolios of 4% of the internet users in 17 European markets, making it the least common of 9 named investment types tracked in the survey. Switzerland and Austria have the highest rate of crypto ownership in Europe and among the highest in the world. 7% of all internet users there hold cryptocurrency. Higher investment in gold also has a strong connection with the share who invest in cryptocurrency. This association is mostly down to Turkey, where 40% of savers reported owning some gold. So store of value, very similar. Now this is the part that I really wanted to show you guys. This is the very exciting piece of data that they're sharing with everyone. Out of their entire community, they dug into the breakdown of the portfolio. So as you can see here, cash savings / pension, crypto holders, 74%, index versus holders of other assets is 0.95 index. Stocks / shares is 33%, that's 2.05. In other assets, gold is 28%, which is pretty phenomenal. That's a high amount. And then 2.11 index. Real estate, 21%, mutual investment funds, 19%, bonds, 14%, annuities, 14%, art and antiques, very cool category there, 12%. Crypto landscape is really interesting here. They've gone all across Europe for their users, and you can see that Switzerland has 7%, Austria has 7%. That was what we mentioned in the report earlier. And the breakdown here is really distributed. Like, this is completely distributed across all of these different places, which I really like to see. Obviously, in the space that we're in with decentralization, having this so distributed out is really fascinating. They actually narrowed down by the city. So London and Zurich seem to be the top, and then Stockholm, which is pretty fantastic. I've actually been there. That's really cool that they broke this down. The demographics, full-time, 23%, freelancer, 17%, student is 16% here, retired, unemployed is 14%, full-time parent is 13%, married is 39%. It looks like the gender is 74 or 78 to 22, and age is 33% are 25 to 34. And that makes perfect sense. This is the majority of people on the channel here are who's viewing it. 35 to 44 is less or so, and then a lot of people in their early 20s. So income, top 10% looks like 18, top 25. So middle class is 41%. Look at that. That is that's a bold statement right there. 35% in the top 25%, and then the top 10%, they're still trying to figure things out. Another great breakdown was the professional lives of these people. IT is a clear one, that's 12%. Manufacturing, 9%. Engineering, 8%. Software development and computing, I thought that would be higher, actually, with 5%. General management, this one's impressive, 23%. Direct report and team management, 17%. Sales, 16%. That would kind of make some sense. A lot of people there are very, their characteristic is bullish, and they're very much about selling things and preaching and all that when it comes to products. So that would make sense that sales would be a little bit higher. Purchasing of tech products, 16%. Recruiting new employees, that's an interesting one, 14%. And these are much more granular here. Retail and fashion, 4%. Healthcare and medical services is 4%. And education and government, so 5% on both of these. Really interesting there. National or local government, 5% are holders in Europe. The investor mindset. They ask these questions. 56% of cryptocurrency holders say they're proactive about investing money, which compares to about 41% of people who hold at least 2 other assets that aren't crypto. The same percentage describes themselves as risk takers, a much higher rate than the average investor. I am proactive about investing money, 56%. I am a risk taker, 56%. I feel positive about the global economy, 39% there, and 31% the holders of other assets are much lower than the people that are investing in crypto there. I would consider myself to be much more affluent than average. Good question. 39% in crypto holders, 32% in other assets. I am comfortable borrowing money. 35% say in crypto, 24% in holding other assets. That's a really interesting breakdown on that last one. 24% of other assets are uncomfortable borrowing money. Crypto holders express confidence, optimism about their finances and the world economy, and show a sense of personal finance empowerment. This line right here is a very, very bold and good extrapolation from this data. Great part here with the mindset is financial products own. 92% own a bank account, 74% have a credit card, 29% have a short-term loan. And the financial products purchased, foreign currency, 22%, car, 19%, life insurance, that's pretty self-explanatory. Health insurance, mortgage is 10%, pet insurance, I like this one, 9% there. So that is it for my overview of the research report as well as Bitpanda in this episode. And there are some really interesting numbers in here. And like I said before, this is like looking at myself in the mirror, as well as a lot of the investors I know here in the United States. A lot of people are going to be interested in this data. So all the links will be in the description below so you guys can check it out for yourself. One of the more interesting ones that I didn't mention, because there is dozens of different metrics that the report showcases, is the fact that 43% of people visited online casinos in the last month. 41% listened to a podcast, shameless plug, check out the Sound Money podcast, link in description. 47% used an online dating service in the last month. 58% visited a business news website like a Bloomberg in the last month. 44% used voice command like a Google Home or a Siri. 66% visited a blogging service like a WordPress in the last month. And 49% watched a vlog in the last month, just like what you're watching today. And I'm really excited about this project. Bitpanda is doing an amazing job, not only with research, but also with their best token and the platform allowing gold investors to move between different types of crypto assets. I'm very excited about this project. I'm glad that I could connect with the team and work with them. And that is it for this episode. I hope you guys like it. If you did, slap a like. If you guys are new here, don't forget to subscribe for more giveaways and more fun episodes like this one. And I will see you on the next episode of How Crypto.